What's up there, Workforce Chris here with Work2Game, and let's talk about how to get started in Eureka Pagos. I am recording at the same time as this. I'm recording kind of my overall impressions and what I actually think of Pagos and where I think it fits relative to Eureka and who I think it might be for or when I think you should engage with it. But right now, let's assume you want to get in and you want to get started. What do you need to know? Short, to the point, let's get started. Thank you, Patreons. You guys are awesome. Let's throw a couple on the screen to thank individually this video. If you'd like to consider becoming one, maybe get your name up there, click on the link in the description below. Thank you so much. Let's move in. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to Kugane. It is exactly at the guy that you queued into the first Eureka with, so if you haven't found him yet, he's standing right there. You talk to him, and then you can immediately queue. You can, once again, just throw up a party finder if you want to go in with friends. I will tell you that week one, it has been so busy that you're not guaranteed to get into the same instance, even if you're in the newest instance, even if you queue at the same time. There are that many instances up, at least when I was playing this morning. So I would say, queue up beforehand. It's really easy to back out and queue back in. We're all so low level right now that you're not that far from the starting point. So if you have friends that want to join in and you're not already sitting in a full party happy with where you're at, just leave the instance, grab them, go back in. There's going to be a quest at 21 that doesn't really unlock anything for you. You do have the ability to unlock the second Aetheryte at 21. You can go in here before level 20, but I don't know that I'd recommend it. There were plenty of 19s that were probably getting by, but the mobs start at level 20. So if you weren't level 20 from Eureka, if you weren't at least level 19 from Eureka, I'd recommend staying on the first Eureka Animos until you got to that point, and then push into Pagos. Now that we're in Pagos, you're not going to be able to mount. And the quest is going to be kind of hard to find. I'll put up a brief little guide on it, but basically run to the Stone Arch, go left up the side of it, and it should be right on top. Just be aware there's a lot of like 23s, 24s, and 25s up there, so be really careful with kind of how you pull. Basically, the fates, there's two types of fates. There's the Notorious Monsters, as we knew there would be, and then there's these ECs, these like Environmental Cataclysm or something or other. And these events, they're treasure related, so they don't drop experience. And they're very hard to complete because once people realize they're not dropping experience, the groups just kind of fall apart. The NMs are very hard right now because you got to remember everybody is at or below the recommended level for that, so there's people dying all over the place, especially that second NM. It is terrible. So I would say definitely keep an eye on kind of what level you're attempting and just prepare yourself to die a lot. Find a group, get into an 8-man, knock out your challenge log. The best thing you can do this week is knock out your challenge log between now and next reset, and then next reset, do it again, do it again, do it again, and just keep knocking out your challenge log each and every week if you're not going to go ahead and just try to push to cap. The loot doesn't seem to be anything that they're ready to kind of preview to us. I didn't see anywhere that I could kind of see it, at least at the level I was. The guy didn't, literally when you talk to him, he just doesn't want anything to do with you. So maybe as I get a little higher, he'll start to give us a little more information and a little more of a preview of kind of how that system's going to work. The NMs were dropping a very small number of crystals and loot boxes. But if you're getting anything out of loot boxes, the good news is all that stuff, if it's not market prohibited, looks like it's going to be incredibly valuable this week because it's really hard to get. So I think across the board to get in, you just go there, you do that, you form a group of 8, you go out, you clear your challenge log. The thing to keep in mind is, of course, the ash things only spawn at night, so go ahead and groups will form to kill ashes and sprites at night. The rest of the time, you just focus on killing what you can. There's different areas, so spread out, and outside of the ashes and sprites, you can kill slightly below your level and count towards your challenge log, so just feel free to kind of push north away from the beaten path. Most people are running through that middle lane there, and try to get in an area where it's just your group and you're not being picked on by other groups, because when they start poaching off each other, it actually just makes it unproductive for everybody. So stay in there, keep your chain bonus, and get after it. It is content. It is, if you were looking for a grind, you got it. So I'll put out my true impressions video separate from this one, and I just wanted to let you guys know how to get started and what you need. You are going to be synced down to gear level 300, so you're probably well over that, especially if you already did Eureka the first go round. So Eureka 2.0 here is definitely ready and waiting for you. You should be perfectly fine in here. The classes that are king, healers are something everybody's going to need, especially week 1. Every group needs a minimum of 1, preferably 2. And outside of that, there is a lot of resing going on. So you red mages are, of course, being treated once again as res mages. And there's a lot of casters. So basically, casters, and because they can stay out of things and they can sit back there and do their thing. Casters, occasional tanks. I was having no trouble single tanking in groups of 8 today, so a group doesn't need 2 tanks, but it can totally handle it. And lots of red mages, as many red mages as you can get. They hit hard, they res well, they're quick on their feet. It's the piece of content for red mages to just be king. I was in a group at one point today with, I believe, 7 red mages. No, 6 red mages. Yeah. So 6 red mages and me and a healer. I was in another group with me and 2 healers, and the rest were red mages. And then I think we later swapped one out for a summoner, and we were dominating, melting things. So I think that is absolutely the direction you can go. People aren't real clear on what they're expecting from a group, so the terms like challenge log, that often turns into something else. They say farm, then they say NM. So nobody really knows what they want, so just have patience. Get in there, get it done. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. This is Chris with Work to Game. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Keep an eye out for my impressions video. Not sure which one of these will end up hitting live first, but we can talk a little bit about kind of what I expected it to be and what it ended up being. And enjoy Pagos. Talk to you later. Hey you, especially if you're a new face, welcome to the workforce. If you want to hit that subscribe button to say you like us, we'd really appreciate it. But there's a little bell next to it if you really like a channel, and you can go ahead and hit that if you'd like to be notified. Be sure that if that thing lets you know, hey, do you always want to be notified, or you just sometimes want to be notified, that you tell it, oh man, I actually meant by notified. So why don't you give that a click, and we hope to see you around in our next video.